Hello, how are you? My name is Matthew. You are in the moment. Early morning here on this last day of June the 30th, a Tuesday just before 10 o'clock. And therapy for me, notes are ready. And I'm just going to go through some observations and talk about some discussions that I've had over the last week. So let's just kind of backtrack and try and put this in some type of chronological order. If you're watching this live, I appreciate it. Please feel free to leave comments about anything going on in your life. This is therapy for me, so please use this platform if you find it therapeutic for you. So this is in the moment, something I've been doing for many, many years, my 9th year. And it's come in many different forms, different names, but the concept remains the same. And it is just a platform for individuals to share their stories. And back in July of 2024, I had an opportunity to speak with one of my dearest childhood friends, Derek Scriver, aka Heavy D, on my Truth from the Booth radio program. Heavy passed away recently, 52 years of age, graduating Woodstock High School in 1991 in my graduating class. Last Sunday was the last time I did a live, and my tribute to Heavy was to re-air that conversation. And you can see it. You can scroll on my Facebook page. You'll still see it. It's just audio, but I do kind of an intro like this, and then we get into the audio part. But I just want to give a shout out to Heavy's kids who reached out to me in private messages. Grateful, thankful to have that audio, to have that conversation. And to know, to hear with their own ears how much Heavy loved his kids. And I just love how in these private messages they refer to me as Skinny M. So keeping with the tradition, Skinny M, Heavy D. So just I've thought a lot this past week, of just so many different wonderful memories with Heavy. And I've been thinking a lot about the kids, his siblings, and the lives that Heavy meant so much to. Larger than life presence. So that was Sunday last week, and later that day, Jen and I decided to go in and catch the second day of SailGP, just see how close we could get to it. And I had been out earlier in the day. I was at the Green Road encampment speaking with PJ in Dartmouth, thinking that I had all kinds of time, because in my mind the race was 4 o'clock on Sunday. The second day of racing, according to the website, at one point was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I go visit PJ, come back over to the apartment where we have a pretty good view of the harbor. We can see ships passing under the McDonald Bridge. Binoculars always at the ready. So it's early afternoon. We'll say it's just after 2 o'clock. And with binoculars, I'm looking up the harbor, and I can see these vessels zipping back and forth across the harbor. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a pretty intense practice. It's practice time. So we catch a bus at 3:15, get into the ferry terminal at about 3:30, and we kind of walk into the back park as you come out of the ferry terminal and you're heading toward historic properties. We get there, the markers are still in the water, but we decide let's go up to Purdy's Wharf where we can get a better vantage point. Well, from the time we went from the ferry terminal to Purdy's Wharf, I notice with binoculars that the unmanned markers are on the move. Okay, nothing registers. Then with binoculars, I see, I believe it was the Spanish team celebrating out in the water. Interesting. A few moments later, and again, this is about 3:30, 25 to 4. The third thing that I see is the vessels being the vessels being craned out of the harbor. And I think to myself, that is so strange. It's 25 to 4. The race is starting soon. Well, we missed the whole thing, the Coles notes. The whole point of that story, the race was moved up to 2 o'clock. I didn't know this. So what I was watching, what I thought was the practice run, was the actual race. By the time Jen and I get into the city, the race was over. Womp womp. So I talk about this all the time, where timing is everything. In that particular situation, the timing was off. Missed it by that much. But no need to get upset. No need to get upset. It was, again, I never leave the house without my binoculars, because we were close enough to hear. We could hear the vocalization of the celebration of the Spanish team out in the harbor, and I could see it up close. There was probably a dozen people on this vessel. So not all was lost. A shout out to everyone behind the scenes at Hugs, especially Rebecca and Lynn, the founders of Hugs, Hearts United in Giving Society. This past Wednesday, another 30 gift packages were dropped off here. Jen and I have been handing those out. I have 4 on the ready at work. So just thank you to those who continue to help this organization, this group of wonderful people grow. It's so wonderful to see updates and very transparent. They let you know what's happening, where the money is going, right down to the penny. So it's just wonderful to receive those packages. Like I said, it's like Christmas every other month, and it just allows Jen and I'm hoping that I can give some of these to Mariah. But just an opportunity to have conversations with individuals in the HRM. I'm not going to mention this individual's name. I'm not sure if they have a large social media presence, but if you were to go back through my shows, you would know that there was a particular individual that I was concerned for many months, nearly a year. I just want to let you know that I saw and spoke with this particular individual, and they are alive and well. They're alive. So I'm just very happy for that. Last Thursday, had a great conversation, a great walk on the waterfront with Siobhan. I just want to say a big shout out to Siobhan. Just appreciate everything you do. You're just a fantastic addition to the Haligonian population. Absolutely. A couple of incidents I want to tell you about with e-bikes. Jen and I were going into the city last week, up around the Cogswell Exchange. There was a pop. Jen's back tire was flat, so we had to walk the electric bike into the city. Not a big deal. What was a big deal at the moment, what I saw with my own eyes just a few hours later, and I'm sure it's on video surveillance. What I saw in Grand Parade Square, and I'm going to give you the Coles notes, was a young lady out of control on an electric bike heading towards the monument in Grand Parade Square closest to the church. I watched this young lady's face bounce off the corner of one of those ledges of this monument. It's one of those, they say you can't turn away from an accident. I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know the severity of it. I'm glad I was there. But what I witnessed and the force, the blunt force trauma to the head that this young lady endured. I really hope she went to the hospital. It was it was miraculous. The extent of the injury was a lot less than I was expecting. Like, it was no open skin, like maybe a little bit faster, just a little bit of a different angle. The witnesses there could have seen someone with a severe neck injury. I'm just glad she was able to walk away, didn't shed a tear, in shock, no doubt they were in shock, but just again, timing. Just certain paths that I take through the city led me to Grand Parade Square at that moment. Just wow, just incredible to witness. Something else that was really incredible to witness Friday night. My sister and her friend Em were in town for the concert at the Garrison Grounds. The Chicks, Blue Rodeo. Seen lots of fantastic video posted online from different vantage points. The Chicks sounded amazing. Blue Rodeo, just always there to entertain. But what entertained me, I just went there after work. So I was on the corner of South Park and Brunswick, and I could hear the Chicks playing. I got there about maybe 10:15, so I heard an hour of the concert from outside the venue, obviously. So, but it was a concert, and I had a parade as well. It was a parade of inebriation. A parade of inebriation. Yeah. I can't do drunk people. Drunk people make me uncomfortable in public because they get weird. They get weird. They lose their sense of direction. They're a bumbling, fumbling mess. So, but anyway, we ended up going down to the Pizza District, Pizza Corner, where there were thousands of people. It was a foggy Friday night, downtown Halifax, with thousands of inebriated people who just came from a concert. People dressed thinking, I don't know if the sun's going to go down tonight. I think we should be warm enough all day. Just very entertaining. Garrison Grounds will host Comedy Festival. I think it's sometime in August. Anyway, that was my Friday night experience. 18,000 steps on Saturday at the Art Gallery, picking up some extra shifts there. So how much extra walking, how many steps do you do on your regular day off? A new family tradition here. Sundays, for the last month or so, on Sundays, we have been watching Formula One racing. This past Sunday, just a few days ago, the race was in Austria, and it was the hottest day of the weekend. I believe it was like 45 degrees Celsius. The temperature on the track was like 120 degrees Celsius. So just incredible racing. What is your Sunday tradition? Just a few more things here. I'm going to let you go back into getting ready for work here on a Tuesday, the last day of the month. Canada Day tomorrow. Celebrate it how you choose, or maybe you don't choose to celebrate it at all. That's the freedom we have here. Do what you will with those 24 hours. Yes? FIFA Canada beat South Africa 1-0 in an amazing game. On the weekend, I had a chance to watch the first half with a bunch of strangers at Rodgers Square, watch the second half at the food court in Scotia Square. So, yeah, well, again, with with some people I didn't know. But it was just an amazing game. The next game is Saturday, 2 o'clock. We will play Morocco in the round of 16. We have been doing some binge watching, and I'm going to close this out here with some fun stuff as we approach 10 o'clock. House of the Dragon. Amazing. Jen and I, we followed it maybe a year ago. We've just watched the first 2 seasons. We watched episode 8 of season 2 last night, so we're at the tail end of season 2. Season 3 is now streaming, so we're looking forward to that. Another great show that we've been watching, and it's filmed right here in the beautiful province of Nova Scotia, is the show from. Season 4 is now streaming. It's now out. I just want to give a shout out. I've never met this individual, but I believe some of the greatest scenes that I have seen in this show come from the actor Robert Joy, who plays Henry. I have yet to see a bad scene with Robert Joy. And just another, I've talked a couple of stories here about timing, how timing is everything. And this is kind of a funny story just from yesterday. This is a story that I can throw my coworker in with me. I got to work yesterday just after 2 o'clock. And my coworker was telling me that they had been notified that the snowbirds were en route. They were going to be doing a flyover Halifax on their way to another destination. And they knew that this flyover was going to happen at approximately 10 after 2. So we are just kind of getting some information. It's getting closer to 10 after 2. And then all of a sudden we hear this rumbling. I say, the snowbirds are here. By the time we get outside, which is maybe 5 or 6 seconds after we hear the noise, the snowbirds have already gone by. Excuse me. And you have to understand where we are in the city. When we come out of the back side of the art gallery, we're looking at the harbor, but we're also looking at some taller buildings. So there's just kind of a break in the skyline. By the time we got outside, the snowbirds had already gone by, and we were just able to see the vapor trail. We were just able to see the vapor trail of the snowbirds. So we missed it by that much. It was disappointing, obviously, to miss the snowbirds. It would have been really cool to be on the other side of the harbor, even to have turned on the webcam from the Dartmouth side so we could have seen it. Anyway, it's just one of those things where timing is everything. Anyway, okay. Just before 10 o'clock on what's looking like a beautiful Tuesday for the last day of June. Looking at the Environment Canada weather forecast, the extended version. The weather's looking pretty good moving forward. So hopefully, May and June, I was just thinking yesterday with some of the weather we've been getting, is D- a thing? Definitely it's C- worthy for June. But again, I'm inside 4 walls, so I can't and I will not complain too much because I know people personally who are enduring all kinds of weather, regardless of what it is, regardless of the season. And it's just some interesting conversations, some very interesting conversations going on with people that I know. I don't want to see the lack of government initiative, government compassion to divide people who are all fighting for the same thing. But I will say, and I believe strongly, and to back up Andrew Goodsell 100%, public housing for all, public housing is the answer. We need to stop wasting taxpayers' money. And again, I've been stressing this for a long time. Let's slap the hands of people who are nickel and diming us, the power companies, the water companies, the landlords, the grocery stores. There's lots of blame to go around. But let's not depend on the government to help us out. I'm 53. Saw my first homeless person when I was 7 or 8. So here we are. So you're never going to convince me that anyone really, really wants to solve this, because we could. We absolutely could. Anyway, 2 minutes after 10. My name is Matthew. You are currently caught up in the moment.